In answer to his question about the subjects.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman, talk today.
Oh, what a compliment. For that, I thank you.
What is happening now? There are hopeless and hungry.
Now it's time for us to stand up for God or we'll fall to nothing.
It's time now for Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Listening to the general public, what the public is saying.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. My name is Orrett Connor, guest hosting for Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, who I trust is enjoying his well-deserved vacation. Lots to talk about today, so please stay tuned. Talk Today will be back shortly.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email Talk Today at candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Live Communication.
Let your voice be heard. Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. Orrett Connor, guest hosting for Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. I want to remind you that our phone lines will be open during the course of the show. You can call us on a toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at talktoday@candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. You can leave a text message or send us a voice note. And, of course, you can follow us live on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. It is my pleasure to have in the studio my first guest on Talk Today is Miss Constance Ebanks. She is the director of the East End Pioneers, Fire Adventurer, and Pathfinders Club, and she's also a member of the organizing committee for the event that we will be talking about. And notice, I hope I have held you in suspense in terms of the event that we will be talking about, because I will let Miss Constance Ebanks share that with you. Miss Ebanks, good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having me.
So first of all, I'd like you to tell our listening and viewing audience about Pathfinders, East End Pathfinders, and the organization in general, so that they know while we're talking and they're listening, or if they choose to participate, they will get a big picture of what the organization is all about.
Absolutely. So the Adventure and the Pathfinder Club is a division of our Seventh-day Adventist Church. So I know a lot of our listeners may be able to associate with Girls, Guides, and the Boy Scouts. Well, we are the Pathfinder Club. And we foster community service, and we are a humanitarian arm for the youths in our community. Mm-hmm. And so when it comes to aid, helping the elderly, you find us. We are basically the army of the church. We are on the front line. When it's disaster, we are there. Mm-hmm. Pro or pre-disaster and post-disaster. So we are always there.
Okay. And of course, the Seventh-day Adventist Church in the Cayman Islands is probably one of the largest denominations in the Cayman Islands. You probably have churches, I'm sure, in every district, and in some districts more than one church.
Yes, we do. We
right?
have a total of 18 churches, including on Cayman Brack.
Mm-hmm. And this is an opportunity for you to have your young people involved in civic activities.
Absolutely. And so for this event that we are hosting is to enable the children of our Pathfinder Club, the Pioneers Fire Adventure and Pathfinder Club in East End, to be able to be set on a platform of stability, wherein we're in need of teaching and learning items. So this fundraiser is in aid of that. We're also trying to acquire 3 laptops for classes, aid in purchasing for uniforms, and much needed items for the running of the club. So thus the event.
Okay, and the theme of the event is?
The theme of the event is so great. It's So Will I. So Will I. When you think about the theme, it was geared on a song, and the song was the title of that song also is So Will I. And the song is saying that if creation can give God praise, so will I. I will not allow the rocks that are silent to take my place. And so with this, the fact that the Pathfinders, we are the army, we're going to give God praise. And we're inviting the community to come out to this event to give God praise. There's going to be a date night with Jesus, and he's waiting on us, so we're going to be dressing our best. So it's a formal event, and it's catered. It will be held at the Ritz-Carlton. And so, of course, once you hear the Ritz-Carlton, you know we're talking about glitz and glamour. We're talking about the top tier.
Valet parking and all of that to go with it.
Exactly. So the Pioneers Fire Adventure and Pathfinder Club is not holding back. The Army's not holding back. We're giving you an avenue and bringing you to this great venue so we can also praise God together. So will I.
Okay, well, that's a very apropos theme for you to have as well. So it sounds very biblical as well. It sounds like something that Jesus Christ has said.
Yes, so will I.
Yes.
So the onus lies on us to give God praise. The onus lies for us as well to meet the humanitarian arm that's needed in our community. It lies on us as well to ensure that our youths are trained, they are prepared in every way possible to be great ladies and gentlemen of society. Here, the Pathfinder Club does that. Here's the venue. Here's the platform to be able to do that. We want your help to ensure that we're able to start off correctly and end correctly. It does benefit society on a whole once our kids are in the best place, starting off at the best place.
Okay. And for those who are interested in joining the Pathfinders, of course, I would be lobbying more for the scouts and some part of the scouting organization. But the important thing is to get our youngsters involved in some organization that has a structure to it.
Exactly.
That will help to mold their character and their lives in the way that we would like to see them go, so that they become productive members of our society. So if someone is interested in joining the Pathfinders, do they necessarily have to belong to the Seventh-day Adventist faith, or are they able to join otherwise?
They don't have to be a part of the Seventh-day Adventist faith. They can join. All of our churches have a continuous running program of the Pathfinder Club. So parent or guardian is able to come by our church. They can also give a call to our conference, the Seventh-day Adventist conference office, and be able to get the forms. You sign up. And we have the age groups running from 5 until 16. So we cater for that age group, and they're able to join as well.
Okay, and how long have the Pathfinders been in existence?
Many, many years. We're over 100 years. So we've been established. Persons will know us from the beginning as MVs, missionary volunteers. So that was our name before the change to the Pathfinder Club. So we've been around. We've been a pillar of society for over 100 years.
And the numbers that you're looking at for Grand Cayman in total, I know you're more involved in the East End unit, but in terms of overall numbers, what types of numbers are you looking at in terms of membership?
For the tying both together, the Adventure and the Pathfinder Club, you're looking at over 2,500 that's involved. And we're talking about both children and leaders, respectively.
And then your meeting dates and your venues?
They vary. We do have meetings that will be on a Sabbath afternoon. We have meetings that are held on Sundays. And if there are special events or honors, we call honors that you would need to gain, we may have other special days during the week that we will isolate for that. But normally, Sabbath afternoon on a Sunday.
And the venues that you use are usually the church, church grounds.
Yes, exactly. And mind you, the Pathfinder Club teaches so much. We're talking about, when I say honors, persons may say, what are you talking about? But we can teach camping. We teach how to set up your tent, how to take it down. All of these are honors, things that you learn, cooking, dyeing, how to cook without giving off smoke signals. And people are like, what? It's exciting. Fishing, repairing bicycles, building bicycles, computer accounts. So all of that, stars, people want, you need to know your environment, how to get around, how to ensure that you're not lost, how to know your directions just by your shadow. All of these things we teach our children so that they are prepared. Fire disaster, red alert. What do you do during a flood? What do you do if the house is on fire? How you can ensure the safety of the elderly and those younger than you. So we're teaching all of these things. CPR, the list goes on. All of this they can learn in this forum.
And we do know that the Seventh-day Adventists do promote a healthy lifestyle.
Oh, yes.
And when it comes to remedies, medicinal remedies, they do have lots of material on that as well. Tell us about some of that. I know we're deviating a little bit, but I'm setting the groundwork for for what is to come later.
Absolutely. Do you know the neem tree?
Yes.
And a lot of persons may not know that the neem tree is a birth control tree.
Really?
Exciting. How did I know that? Through the Pathfinder Club.
Okay.
It's amazing. And you think of these things and...
I just cut mine down.
Please.
I have to get that going again.
Replant.
No, it became too big. That's all. That's why.
But it's not only for that, though. It assists and aids in your blood sugar. So if you have low blood sugar, you want to be careful because it drops it really well, and you don't want someone that has low blood sugar to drop it even further. But for those who are suffering with high blood sugar, the neem tree aids you in that. For arthritis, there's so many different medicinal things, and we teach those things. They're edible plants, chives that you get on top of your baked potato. That's grown wild. You can, there's so many things. The moringa.
Yes, very popular, highly popular.
Right.
Yeah.
You can do, grind your seed, the leaf, the bark, the noonie. Also is known to shrink tumors. A lot of persons says, I take the fruit and I, leave it to drain and it's a little bit pungent and not really so good, persons smells away and, but the leaf, you can boil the leaf as though you would boil Cersei, and you can add that water to your 7-Up. You can use it to make your lemonade because you're still getting in the ingredients that you brewed from the noonie leaves. And it's known to shrink tumors. Ladies with fibroids, hello, here's good news. Brew the noonie leaf and your fibroids will shrink. It's guaranteed. It's not if or maybe. And these are areas that we've learned and gotten these good advice through being in this environment of the Pathfinder Club, learning and growing.
Okay, folks, I want to remind you that you're listening to Talk Today. I'm your host, Orrett Connor, filling in for Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this afternoon Miss Constance Ebanks, who's the director of the East End Pioneers Fire Adventurer and Pathfinders Club, and she's also a member of the organizing committee of a huge gala event that will be taking place at the Ritz-Carlton. We will talk more about that event when we return from this short commercial break.
We know you like a little bit of fun. So if you're not too busy and you wouldn't mind winning some free fuel, join us at an Esso station for 1 hour every Friday while this offer lasts. This Friday, we're giving you the chance to spin the wheel and win free fuel. Simply spend $10 at the pump or in-store for your lucky chance. So see you at our H&B Shedden Road service station between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. Esso. Energy lives here.
The Esso brand is a trademark of ExxonMobil Corporation and is used under license.
South Coast Bar and Grill up in Breakers, man, that is the place. For traditional Cayman cuisine, oh, you will love the taste. At South Coast Bar and Grill, we got conch and lobster and turtle stew. And every Sunday, come out with your family for the barbecue.
South Coast Bar and Grill by the seaside, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, lunch and dinner. Call us at 947-2517.
For Cayman and cuisine, the talk today is South Coast Bar and Grill.
Not all insurance is created equal, but who has the time to shop around? Take the guesswork out of your insurance coverage with Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Let us match you with the best coverage to suit your needs at a price to suit your wallet. Plus, get superior customer service from dedicated claims professionals to ensure speedy claims processing. Get your insurance through Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Rotary Central Music Extravaganza is back. November is your lucky month with your Rotary Central Music Extravaganza ticket purchase of only $25. Win that grand prize of $40,000. Second prize, $4,000 and 6 $1,000 prizes. Yes, the 23rd Annual Music Extravaganza, Saturday, November 24. Royal Palms, West Bay Road from 7 p.m. Music by Dr. Bob's Experiment, Fire Squad and Altered Minds. Only a few more days, only 8,000 golden tickets. Get your tickets now through points of sale at Funky Times, Outskirt ticket sales at A.L. Thompson's, Foster Supermarkets locations island-wide, Jake Scott Warehouse Store on Shedden Road and West Bay, Perk Up in Governor's Square, Rubis, Walkers Road, Esso on the Run in Red Bay, Tortuga Store, Governor's Square, Jose's Rubis, Lorna's Rubis in Bordentown, 4-Way Esso, West Bay, 7 Mile Beach, Esso, Cost You Less, and www.eventpro.ky. Rotary Central Music Extravaganza proceeds fund over 50 community inspiration projects. Be a winner, buy a ticket. Support your community. Your ticket, your chance, your community.
Kirk Freeport's Black Friday sale is bigger than ever with 60% off an incredible selection of watches, jewelry, crystal, and accessories. Get early access to the sale on Thursday night from 5. Bayshore Mall and Cardinal Avenue locations will stay open until 8, and the Strand will remain open until 9. Get unbeatable discounts from brands including John Hardy, Roberto Coin, Bulgari, Chopard, Marco Basico, and many more. Plus, there's an additional 10% off all non-branded sale merchandise. It's Black Friday all weekend at Kirk Freeport. Visit kirkfreeport.com for full details.
Cayman Brack, yes, it is your turn. The Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run will be stopping by Southside Public Beach Saturday, November 24th.
Runners, on your mark.
Help support the So-and-So Club and join Radio Cayman for the Brack Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run. The first 100 participants will receive a shirt and a goodie bag. Register at District Administration or online at www.caymanactive.com.
Let's go. Make no excuses now. I'm talking here and now.
Come celebrate with Putin Cleaners as they celebrate their 60th anniversary in laundry and dry cleaning service to the Cayman Islands by entering to win big in the annual Christmas drawings. Main prize is $600 plus other prizes and surprises. Pre-drawings will take place at each of our locations: Savannah, November 24th, Elgin Avenue, December 1st, and Centennial Towers, December 8th at 12:30 p.m. The grand prize drawing will be on December 22nd, 4 p.m. at Putin's main store located on 337 Eastern Avenue, Georgetown. All customers with pickup tickets $17 and over, whether old or new orders, are qualified to enter. Make sure you drop your pickup tickets in the box provided at any of our 4 convenient locations near you for a chance to win big this Christmas. And don't forget, it's party time. Let us help you look your best. You feel good when you look good. We sincerely thank you for your patronage throughout the year and hope we have the privilege to continue serving you. Putin Cleaners, 949-7104.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Orrett Connor filling in for Sterling Dwayne Ebanks in the studio with me. We have Miss Constance Ebanks, the director of the East End Pioneers Fire Adventure and Pathfinders Club and a member of the organizing committee for an event entitled So Will I. It is a fundraiser event that is being done by the East End Seventh-day Adventist Church in association with the East End Pioneers Fire Adventurer and Pathfinders Club. The aim is to raise funds in aid of purchasing teaching and learning materials for the club, purchasing 3 much-needed laptops for classes, covering the cost for uniforms and other items associated with the running of the club. We know that the running of these clubs can be extremely expensive, and there are sometimes parents who are unable to afford uniforms, unable to afford laptops. So this is where we try to tap in to our civic-minded organizations or good corporate citizens to throw in, assist as well in this venture. So tell us some more now, Ms. Constance, about the particular event. So will I.
Absolutely. So the event will be held on December 2nd from 7 until 11 p.m. at the Ritz-Carlton Grand Cayman. The event will be dinner and a concert. So we're not just giving you just any dinner. You're looking at a 5-course dinner from top chefs here at the Ritz-Carlton. It's going to be great. And we're also having a concert as well associated with the event. So we have Kara Sales, one of our international singers that donating his time here, and so he will be in concert. And we have a lot of local stars that will be on the lineup as well, including Michelle T. We're looking at Utah. We're looking at our very own Omar Walters. All of these lineups will be here for the concert. So it's not just going to be not just an event that you're just sitting and eating great meal. We're also going to praise. We're going to entertain. And so that's why I said this is going to be a date night. And it's going to be an evening that you don't want to miss. We're talking about a red carpet, formal, catered event. It's going to be amazing, OC.
And that is the 2nd of December. What day of the week is that?
That's on a Sunday.
On a Sunday.
On a Sunday,
excellent,
December 2nd.
excellent. And that's from 7 until 11. It's a red carpet catered event.
Yes.
The price of tickets?
Is $150. Only $150. And, you know, I do know that some people say, oh, my goodness, $150. You know, it's big. But when you think about on the best 7-mile beach stretch, at one of the best places, the Ritz-Carlton, with the best person ever in attendance, your Lord, your Savior, your friend is going to be there. And when you're thinking about one of the best events that you could even be a part of and sponsor as the Adventure and Pathfinder Club, not to mention one of the best churches on the island, the first church, actually, of the Seventh-day Adventists, the East End.
Yes,
indeed. East End Seventh-day Adventist Church. So it's going to be a great event you don't want to miss.
That was a gentleman by the name of McLaughlin.
Indeed, absolutely.
I attended the Seventh-day Adventist Church because my mother, my father, of course, was a seaman, so my mother was in charge of the house when he was at sea, and she insisted that I would not waste my time on a Saturday or on a Sunday. So on a Saturday, she sent me to the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and on a Sunday she sent me to the Church of God. So I'm multi-denominational.
All right.
And, I really enjoyed it. Sabbath school, we used to call it then.
Yes,
Sabbath school.
Yes.
And we attended that. I had people like Miss Mary Thompson, or she was before she was married, Miss Mary Marin, who taught there. And of course, you had the Seventh-day Adventist school as well, and many Caymanians attended Seventh-day Adventist school.
Edmer,
also.
the name was first.
Well, even before then, when it was on where I think it's HMS law firm is now old Butterfield Bank building. Going towards Mary Street.
Okay.
Right on the corner that was the first Seventh-day Adventist church in Georgetown. Of course, that was in the 50s. So
good time.
Tells you how young I am.
Very young. Very young.
I want to talk a little. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the event itself.
Yes.
We talk about the price of tickets, $150 per person, which is not a whole lot when you consider what you're getting. Some people pay $150 just for the valet parking alone, you know. So that's fairly cheap. But sponsors as well. If a business wanted to purchase a table or something like that, is that possible?
That is possible.
And so I'd like you to point that out, as well as the contact numbers for anyone who's interested in obtaining tickets.
Absolutely. So for any organization, whether it's government or private, we solicit your assistance, absolutely, and you're able to reach out to myself on 525-0941, and of course you're able to also email at avion@hotmail.com if you need to get in touch with us. If you're able to sponsor a table, amazing. We're able to talk about that. If you want to purchase just a few tickets as well, maybe you want to send persons from your organization for attendance, you're welcome to attend. We would love your support. This is an avenue where we're able to rub shoulders with you. You get to know us. We get to know you. You actually get to see what we're actually doing, and of course, you're able to also get involved.
And you'll have your young people on display there as well. We'll
have our regala will be on display. You're able to see them. So it's just going to be such a great event that not only are we able to give praise, but we're able to get together in a nice environment that's quite elegant and fits the purpose.
Now, let's talk about giving praise. I've noticed that a lot of churches have moved away from the traditional way of giving praise and worship. In my young days, there was no such thing as seeing a drum and a guitar or whatever on the platform, on the church platform. Normally, it was the choir and the preacher, and if you had to say a recitation or something like that, or if you perform during a play, that's when you would be up on the platform. Now we see bands and a completely different way of praising, which is very attractive to many people. Do we have that same type of approach within the Seventh-day Adventist Church as well now?
For the Seventh-day Adventist Church, music plays a great part in worship. So, we're open for musical instruments. What you won't find, however, is you won't find all of this band on our platform. You don't find that this saturates our platform.
Yes.
And we rely on your voices and your hands. And so instruments are just an addition. It's just like icing on a cake. But for the cake to be made, I need all those other ingredients. So that's the people. That's their voice. That's their talent. So here we bake the cake. Instruments are just icing. If we don't have a drum, doesn't mean we can't give praise nonetheless. You'll have a piano or a keyboard. That's fine enough once we have the people. So we're also inviting them, not just only to this event, but come to church 9:15 on a Sabbath. We welcome you until 1 p.m. It's going to be great. So praise and worship. And the thing is, if you're feeling low, you're feeling ill, you're feeling depressed, things aren't working out for you, and you want to throw your hands up and give in and say, whatever. And you may think ideas of how to fix things or to end things. Praise is a way to beat the enemy. Praise is a way to, not only do you get God's attention, but he's like, what? Is that Mr. Connor singing? I got to go on down there, So your praise is a way to say, hey, even in the bad times, I just want to give God praise. I just want to tell him thanks, because had it not been for him, I wouldn't know how strong I was to endure all these things. So we praise. The event is to say that, yes, we need funds. We need the community's help to ensure that our children are set on a platform. They are rooted in a proper foundation to be stalwarts in the community. But even though we have that need, we have that desire, we're still saying, God, you're amazing. We want to spend this night with you. Not only are we going to buy the best and dress the best, get our hair done, and I'm looking forward to seeing you, Mr. Connor, in your black tie. You're going to be so, gorgeous is not the word to use to see you in your black tie.
Dapper, Miss Susan says.
Sounds good. Dapper sounds good. And so, we normally dress up when we have date nights with the husband or with the wife, or, when we're going out on this first date, we meet this new guy. You remember when you met your wife? You called her all the time, you know. And you would run your phone bill up $200 because of all this long talking.
Yes, yeah.
And you remember how exciting it was, and you couldn't wait until morning to call her. And sometimes you'd even fall asleep on the phone. I know the listeners know what I'm talking about. So we're bringing back that vibe with God on this event. We're saying, hey, date night. I'm getting my hair done. I got my nice dress. Got my nails done, my nice shoes. I'm going to meet my guy there.
Yep, and what better place? At the Ritz-Carlton.
Exactly.
Valet parking and all. We're going to take our last commercial break. When we return, I want to talk to Miss Ebanks about the leadership. How do they recruit people to assist with the Pathfinders and the fire adventurers as well? So please stay tuned for the Not For the Record. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Babe, not tonight. I need to be rested for all-day meetings tomorrow.
What are you talking about? I was almost asleep.
You keep poking me, and I can't sleep.
That's the mattress spring I keep telling you about. Not me. We really need to get a new mattress.
Tossing and turning, back hurting, can't sleep? It might be time to turn your old mattress and go to bed with a new one. Browse the huge mattress showroom at Brand Source Home Gallery and pick the perfect mattress today. With mattresses to suit every budget, Brand Source Home Gallery stocks a wide selection of sizes and styles like Pillow Top and Gel Memory Foam. So stop tossing and turning and sleep better tonight with a new mattress from Brand Source Home Gallery, Dawson Drive, Industrial Park.
CUC advises customers in the Birch Tree Hill, Mount Pleasant, Barkers, Batabanu, and the Shores areas in West Bay that they will experience a 1-hour interruption to their electrical service on Tuesday, November 20th between 7:30 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. Areas affected include all customers on Birch Tree Hill Road, Mount Pleasant Road, Captain Reginald Parsons Drive, Conch Point Road, Batabanu Road, and all side roads. Some customers on Fountain Road and Hell Road will be affected for no more than 20 minutes. Motorists are asked to drive with caution when utilizing these roads, as CUC will have a number of vehicles and personnel in these areas. CUC apologizes for this interruption, which is necessary to facilitate overhead infrastructure upgrades in these areas. For more information on the outage and streets affected, please contact CUC's customer service team at 949-5200 or email service@cuc.ky.
We know you like a little bit of fun. So if you're not too busy and you wouldn't mind winning some free fuel, join us at an Esso station for 1 hour every Friday while this offer lasts. This Friday, we're giving you the chance to spin the wheel and win free fuel. Simply spend $10 at the pump or in-store for your lucky chance. So see you at our H&B Shedden Road service station between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. Esso. Energy lives here.
The Esso brand is a trademark of ExxonMobil Corporation and is used under license.
I didn't mean to hurt her. Work was tough. We're struggling financially. I had a few drinks to relax, but then the argument started. It was a mistake to hit her. Now I don't have a job. I don't have a wife. I can't afford to feed my family. This was a hard lesson to learn. Never forget that walking away from something unhealthy is brave. Stop to slap. Stop to cycle. Stop the violence.
The Stop the Slap campaign has been proudly sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Stop the slap. Stop the cycle. Stop the violence.
It's more than what we do. It's who we are. We were your official bank of the quincentennial celebrations in 2003. We were your Bank of the Year 4 times. We were voted as the inaugural top employer in 2010. We were the inaugural Business of the Year awardee in 2017. Who are we? We are Cayman National, your local bank, proudly serving you for over 40 years. It's because of you that our journey continues.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. My name is Orrett Connor, filling in for Sterling Dwayne Banks, who's on vacation, and it has been my pleasure to have in the studio with me this afternoon Miss Constance E. Banks, who's the director of the East End Pioneers Fire Adventure and Pathfinders Club, and she's also a member of the organizing committee for an event that is taking place at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel on Sunday, the 2nd of December 2018 from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m. The event is entitled So Will I. It is a fundraiser event to benefit the East End Seventh-day Adventist Church Association with the East End Pioneers, Fire Adventure and Pathfinders Club. Now, Ms. Constance, I know that a lot of these youth organizations sometimes have challenges. If it's not financial challenges, sometimes it may be even membership challenges, because we're competing for young people's attention when we have so much going on in terms of social media, sporting organizations as well. But we also face challenges in terms of recruiting and retaining leaders within the group. And sometimes we grow amongst ourselves in that, you know, you come up as a pathfinder or as a cub or whatever, you reach the age when your time is over, but then you give back to the organization by becoming a leader yourself. How do you do in terms of leadership?
So, just as you said, Mr. Connor, that's the process that we do. So we'll have a child that starts from eager beaver, 5 years old, until they're 16 and end the Pathfinder Club. We don't just end it there. Mm-hmm. Then they move on to what we call AY. These are now our Adventist youths. This is where now they take on leadership roles. They will hover with the leader, prominent leader, and they're able then to see the styles. They already know about the organization. They've gone through the process, and so they're now able to aid for the younger ones that are coming behind them. Here's where we teach them. Here's where they learn and grow to take on leadership roles, to be able to be the stalwarts that we want them to be and that they've grown to be. Then it doesn't end there. So from the Adventist youths, you have your master guides. So now this is the platoon of the church, of the Pathfinder Club, the master guides. Here's where now they become counselors. They are geared to be able to teach honors. They are also geared to be able to teach anything that relates to particular areas of society for learning. So for instance, we'll have persons who are professional doctors and nurses that are able now to teach CPR, so that we're actually certified in CPR.
Okay.
Right? So it doesn't stop there. And for all of our youths that pass through this environment of the club, when they take on roles in society for gain, this is their profession. A lot of times you realize is what they learned in the club that actually steered them into this avenue. Oh, I want to be this because I saw this. I want to become this person because of what was laid before. I want to be a preacher. I want to be a missionary, all because I learned within the club what it was like for persons not having water, not having electricity. What we did as a Seventh-day Adventist church, as an organization, we went to areas that weren't known. And we brought these items. Not only are we bringing Jesus, but we're bringing him tangibly, not just spiritually. And so this is the foundation of the club, to let you know Jesus is here. He cares about the little details, and we are his arms. And we're not only telling you Bible, but we're showing it to you physically. How do we do that? By training and gearing our children or youth to become these people that are a humanitarian arm.
Okay, unfortunately we're getting to that part of the show where it's almost over, but I want to give you an opportunity to wrap up, to give us tell us about the event, the name of it, when it will be taking place, where it will be taking place, the cost, and for any final closing comments as well, Missy.
Absolutely. So the event is So Will I will be held on December 2nd, which is Sunday, from 7 until 11 p.m. at the Ritz-Carlton Grand Cayman. We have dinner and concert. We have carousels in concert, local artists such as Michelle T. Tickets are only $150. And, of course, it's a catered formal red carpeted event. You can reach out for tickets at the Seventh-day Adventist conference office, and all our local churches as well will have tickets. You can also make contact via email at avion@hotmail.com. You can reach me as well on 525-0941, Andrea Smith at 927-3075. Now, this is an event, So Will I, that is fit not to miss.
Yes. Okay, and we still have a few minutes left as well. Anything that we may have missed out in terms of your East End? What in terms of the community of East End in your particular case? How receptive have the community been towards your group, and what type of community support that you get from the community, and this type of support that you also give to the community? Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. And I tell you something, it even surprised me, the support that we get from the Eastern District or friends in the community. We have over 50 children from the community that is signed up for club. That is why we're reaching out in this way for a fundraiser, because we need the help to be able to cater to these people. There's a lot of kids, and we want to do it, and we're not going to turn them back. So we're setting the ground for a solid foundation, and we need your help. What we've done in the community, we've cut lawns, we've painted houses, we've gone out and we did even a drive for old glasses. We were taking used glasses that we're able to give to the Leo's Club, that for children in the Eastern District that may not be able to purchase their prescription glasses. We've done that drive. We've acquired those glasses. And so we're now just in the run to make contact with the Leo's Club that we can hand over these glasses and see if in turn they're able to provide glasses for children in the Eastern District. So things like that is what we do. And their needs, we may not be able to meet all of them, but we want them to know that we know and that we care, and we're going to do everything that we can to give some assistance. How are we going to be able to do that? We can't do it on our own, so that's why we're reaching out to the community. Any way possible. If you're not even able to make it to the event and you can give a donation, absolutely. If you want to write me a check, $7,000 or more, I'll accept that too.
And as far as the things like the laptops are concerned, if someone, but you want something that is functional, that because sometimes when people are changing out equipment in their offices, they will clean the computers and donate them. But you want to ensure that it is something that is functional. You don't want it to be something that creeps along, as well. But you would certainly welcome things of that nature. Yes,
absolutely. If someone's listening, an organization, and they're listening and they're able to donate the laptops, absolutely. If you can donate more than 3, we need more than 3. The minimum is 3 to be able to be functional. So if we can, if someone wants to donate more, they want to donate 1, amazing. School supplies as well, amazing. We'll take them. Whatever way you can assist the youths, we're here to accept. And thank you so much in advance.
And thank you so much for being here as well, Ms. Constant Ebanks. Wish you all the best in your endeavors. Folks, please stay tuned. Talk Today will be back, and we will be talking about International Men's Day when we return as well. So please stay tuned. Talk Today will be back shortly.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecast, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
Let's spread the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
We are Radio Cayman, and this is how we up in the morning. Praise time on Radio Cayman.
Sing your praise to the Lord. Come on, everybody, stand up and sing one more. Hallelujah, give your praise to the Lord. We are united in Jesus Christ. We are the soldiers of the land.
Praise time.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
There's a meeting up in heaven. Roll call. He's a name in the name in the Lamb's book of life. Roll call, brother, sister. Roll call. If you don't stop shouting, if you don't stop dancing, we're going to put you out of our church.
Praise time.
Jesus in the morning, yeah.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Your song flowed through my lips. Your work moved through my hands. Your thoughts stay on my mind. Live in me.
Country classics.
One night of love don't make up for 6 nights alone.
No one could steer me right, but Mama tried. Mama tried. You're cheating hard. You load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. I'm a honky-tonk man.
Country classics.
She's a good-hearted woman in love with a good time tonight. On a Sunday morning sidewalk.
If you enjoy classic country music, come hang out with Radio Cayman this Saturday, 3:30 to 6 p.m.
I'm so lonesome I could cry. I'd love to wake up in your arms tomorrow, but I'm so afraid of losing you again.
This Saturday afternoon, following American Country Countdown, 3:30 to 6 on Radio Cayman. Country classics.
Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
A new postal product line has been launched on Cayman Brac that will enable local businesses, notably small businesses and cottage industries, to amp up their services in time for the coming Christmas season. Government says as a result of this service, customers at Cayman Islands post offices are now able to ship out their locally made products at flat rates using the two new products, Cayman Kind Global that costs $25 and Cayman Kind Global Express at a cost of $40. Any product that fits into the confines of the Postal Service's branded boxes can be easily shipped to overseas buyers. The availability of the boxes eliminates the need for customers to look for other packaging for posting their products. In news elsewhere, U.S. President Donald Trump said there is no reason for him to listen to a recording of the very violent, very vicious killing of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi, which has put him in a diplomatic bind. How to admonish Riyadh for the slaying, yet maintain strong ties with a close ally. Trump, in an interview that aired Sunday, made clear that the audio recording supplied by the Turkish government would not affect his response to the October 2nd killing of Khashoggi, a columnist for the Washington Post who had been critical to the Saudi royal family. Israel avoided early elections after a key coalition partner and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government said on Monday that he would not withdraw his party, keeping the coalition intact despite a crisis triggered by a violent flare-up with Gaza militants. The education minister there said his hard-line, pro-settler Jewish Home Party would give Netanyahu another chance to address the security challenges facing Israel, listing off threats from Gaza and Lebanon, among others, which he wanted dealt with more firmly. Those are your latest updates here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shanta Gallego.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
We know you like a little bit of fun. So if you're not too busy and you wouldn't mind winning some free fuel, join us at an Esso station for 1 hour every Friday while this offer lasts. This Friday, we're giving you the chance to spin the wheel and win free fuel. Simply spend $10 at the pump or in-store for your lucky chance. So see you at our H&B Shedden Road service station between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. Esso. Energy lives here.
The Esso brand is a trademark of ExxonMobil Corporation and is used under license.
Business owners and marketing managers, did you know that during the holidays, 1 in every 3 persons in Cayman search FindYellow.com? Get more visibility for your business with Yellow's special Christmas advertising package. Contact our advertising consultants at 949-7027 or visit FindYellow.com to find out more. Yellow, we know Cayman.
Stay connected and share your favorite holiday moments with Flow. Pick up the Alcatel A1 from $70 or the Samsung J2 Pro, packed with sweet features from $130. Every week you can win cash and prizes in our Cash Cube when you top up. Also check out our weekly top-up specials. Visit Flow's Facebook and Instagram pages to follow the deals. Plus, top up $25 or more for plenty chances to win great Flow holiday prizes. So make it Flow for everything mobile this Christmas. Visit discoverflow.ky for more. Terms and conditions apply.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. I am your host, Orrett Connor, filling in for Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. In this segment of the show, we're happy to host the Family Resource Center, and it is our pleasure to have in the studio, amongst others, Ms. Raquel Duhaney, who is the program facilitator of the Family Resource Center, and I'm going to ask her to introduce individually all of the other participants around the table. And of course, we will be talking about International Men's Day, which is today as well. Ms. Duhaney, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having us. So while the Family Resource Center are the organizers, we won't be saying very much today on this radio roundtable because I have a group of very reputable males with me here today representing for International Men's Day. We have Mr. Chris Murray, which is one of the school counselors at John Gray High School, among many other things. He's also the organizer of the Boys to Men Club at John Gray High School.
Mr. Murray, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon.
And so he's brought along with him 2 of his students, Tristan Webster and Kendall Zalea.
Mr. Webster and Mr. Zalea, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Sir. Good afternoon, sir.
You guys are smartly dressed as well. You know, we'll have you on YouTube.
Thank you.
So one of our therapists at the Department of Counseling Center, Mr. Jason Dunkley, is also here with us.
Mr. Dunkley, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
We have William Doran. He's an educator, music director.
Mr. Duran, good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you. Good to be here.
We have Mr. Scott Ruby. He's a funeral director, likes to just say, oh, you know what, I'm an undertaker, but he's much more than that. Has some great insight to share with us today.
Welcome, Scott, and we're familiar on the roads of the Cayman Islands as well. A familiar face.
Hey, OC, it's good to see you not sweating.
Thanks for that, Scott.
All right, and lastly and absolutely not least, we have Mr. Colin Anglin, Director of Department of Sports.
Yep, very popular person as well, Mr. Anglin. Good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon. Pleasure to be here.
Okay, I'm going to throw the mic back over to you, Ms. Duhaney, in terms of what we will be talking about and to introduce the
Okay,
subject.
so here in the Cayman Islands, we've been celebrating at the Family Resource Centre International Men's Day for the 8th year now. The international theme is positive male role models. And so today, the gentlemen on this panel will start to discuss or open discussion and hopefully welcome some calls around some of the biggest issues men face in our community. We want to look at how these things are affecting our boys and what is the role of men in terms of role modeling appropriate expectation for our boys so that they're able to grow up to become successful men.
Excellent. And of course, when it comes to role modeling, while we may be a patriarchal society to a certain extent, when we look back at our history and when men went to sea, the women were the ones who were in charge of the household. They took care of everything. But yet, we still had our men who we wanted to emulate, especially when they came back home from sea and they buy a new bicycle and they come back with all the fancy clothing and stuff like that. And then, of course, seamanship became a rite of passage to everyone in the Cayman Islands. I know Mr. Anglin is, quite familiar with that as well, so I'm going to ask him to chime in, right away.
Well, definitely, Mr. O.C. And I think I actually spoke about that a little while back as well in the documentary as well. But, just talking about the importance of positive male role models, we also see that naturally as human beings, we will do what we see, right? And so it's very important for our young men to be able to see other men that they can emulate. It is really, really critical. And I think when we look around, a lot of times, if we look at the majority of people that are incarcerated, males outnumber females. A lot of times we look at a lot of the road accidents or a lot of those things. We're seeing these things happening more to males than they are to our females. So we really have to address that because there's an issue. There's something going wrong, and we have to talk about it. And I'm really, really proud of the Family Resource Center for taking this initiative and constantly wanting to raise the awareness of the importance of positive male role models. So all of us in here will be speaking from different perspectives, which I'm really looking forward to hearing from everyone on that. Okay, well,
why don't we do it this way then? We'll work our way around the table, in this regard. So
just to follow on from what you were saying then, Mr. Anglin, I think from what I've experienced so far at the Department of Counselling, you mentioned young men want to be what they see. And I 100% agree with that, because I suppose what I see is the cycle of it all. So it's not just a young boy wants to be like his father. That father wants to be like his father, and so on and so on and so on. And what it's our responsibility to do now is, with the negative side of that, the negative behaviours, is to understand that we have a choice as adults and as young men to break those negative cycles. And it's right. What we need to do now is decide how we want to do that. So look at the areas in society we want to change, look at the areas in our families we want to change, look at the areas in our own personal relationships that we want to change, and accept the fact that it's not predetermined and we don't have to do everything that we've seen and grown up with. And we have the power to choose and change. And that can be difficult when there's other behaviours going on around us that don't help and don't facilitate that change. But that doesn't negate the fact that we as individuals are able to choose. It's not predetermined. It's not written in stone. It's not written in the stars.
Okay, Scott?
You said something, two things that struck me on your opening when you said that the fathers went to sea. Well, first of all, the fathers were there. But then you said they came back. They came back.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
And that's huge. The fatherhood role has become disposable. And that leaves an opening for a lot of misadventure and bad behavior. When you look at young men that, for instance, go into a gang and you talk to them about gang participation and gang membership, and you ask them, well, what do you receive from that group that you don't receive at home? And it's they have rules, they have boundaries, they have a sense of belonging and a sense of being loved. And if complete strangers can make a murdering thug out of your boy, just think what you could do as a family.
Precisely, yes. Yes. Okay, Mr. William Duran.
Thanks. That's a hard one to follow. They talk about topping the standards. Just to what has already been to what's been said, Mr. Dunkley, Mr. Scott, Mr. Anglin. A couple of years ago, I was the Dean of Students at Hope Academy, and I had the great pleasure of working with our young men and women and educating them. And I remember, I don't know if you recall it, Colin, when you came in and stood in front of them. I cannot remember for the life of me the particular program we were following, but you came in and spoke to what it meant.
At the time.
It was. You're right. Yeah, okay. And we were looking. Yeah, so young Caymanian leadership, and we were looking. I think you posed the question, "What does it mean to be a young man?" And I followed that for weeks with some of the lads in class, and the question just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think I'd love it if we'd agree, at least at some point in this discussion, to ourselves address that question. What does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be a young man, a slightly older man? This beard on my left is very established, so slightly older than me, man. All that kind of seasoned. That might be too. Anyway, stop. But to move to those questions and say, what is it that it means for us to be a man? And I love the idea of when you're talking, Mr. Dunkley, about established behavioural traits and how people follow on and examples and positive modelling, and what you mentioned there, Scott, about the idea of what can you imagine if a group of strangers can make a thug out of your son, what we can do as positivity, in a positive regard. So from where I came with the CMC, the Cayman Music Collective, and establishing it, we worked with literally hundreds of young Caymanian lads teaching guitar, drums, bass, and one of the things that came out was the whole the rap culture that came out, and we worked an awful lot with, don't want to mention names, but all of the artists that are currently in Cayman or in LA, and there are other places, and part of that culture of masculinity, which is actually quite different from the masculinity that is exhibited by young Caymanians in general, and we looked and we talked an awful lot about that and tried very hard to model a positive aspect in that. For me, there's lots that we could talk about, and I don't want to monopolise anything, but I really would love the question to be addressed today. What is it that we believe a man to be? What is a man? And if we can augment that later by what is a father, it would be a fantastic discussion, I believe. Okay.
Ms. Susan, you want to take a break now? We're going to take a break. We haven't heard yet from Mr. Murray. When we return, we will get some comments from Mr. Murray as well. And then we have a series of questions and topics that we want to talk about. Some of them would I'll prep you on some of them. For instance, what are the biggest issues you feel men face today in our community here in the Cayman Islands? What do you feel these issues are? Why do you feel these issues are so prevalent? What do you think needs to be done to address these issues as well? Some very challenging questions, and we will be asking those questions and at the same time trying to answer them here on Talk Today. Please stay tuned. Talk Today will be back shortly.
Thousands of Caymanians work in our cruise tourism industry. It is a myth that Cayman does not need cruise tourism. It is a fact that 4,500 Caymanians work in this industry today as taxi and tour operators, boat captains and crew, restaurateurs, retailers, water sports operators, and ambassadors at our attractions. If our cruise tourism industry is half of what it is today, what are we going to do with our people, the thousands of unemployed Caymanians? Support the peers, support our tourism.
Join us on International Men's Day. Head to the premiere of the thought-provoking short film Men's Voice on Monday, 19th November, and bag great seat prices. Free admission to the 15-minute local documentary. Hear them, see them, support them. Watch a cross-section of male influencers talking about the big issues facing men today. Hear what they have to say about overcoming those problems. See Men's Voice at Regal Cinemas on November 19th at 6 p.m. and continue the conversation because men's issues matter.
We know you like a little bit of fun. So if you're not too busy and you wouldn't mind winning some free fuel, join us at an Esso station for 1 hour every Friday while this offer lasts. This Friday, we're giving you the chance to spin the wheel and win free fuel. Simply spend $10 at the pump or in-store for your lucky chance. So see you at our H&B Shedden Road service station between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. Esso. Energy lives here.
The Esso brand is a trademark of ExxonMobil Corporation and is used under license. The University College of the Cayman Islands invites you to a soft launch of its Prior Learning Assessment Program, an initiative that seeks to help adult learners fast-track degree completion by awarding course credits for demonstrated college-level knowledge. On Thursday, November 29th at 6 p.m., join other adult learners and talent managers at the UCCI Sir Vassal Johnson Hall for a special keynote presentation, networking opportunities, and delicious treats. Visit the official UCCI Facebook page for details.
Kirk Freeport's Black Friday sale is bigger than ever with 60% off an incredible selection of watches, jewelry, crystal, and accessories. Get early access to the sale on Thursday night from 5. Bayshore Mall and Cardinal Avenue locations will stay open until 8, and the Strand will remain open until 9. Get unbeatable discounts from brands including John Hardy, Roberto Coin, Bulgari, Chopard, Marco Basico, and many more. Plus, there's an additional 10% off all non-branded sale merchandise. It's Black Friday all weekend at Kirk Freeport. Visit kirkfreeport.com for full details.
A trip to New York City is the experience of a lifetime. Starting this December, Cayman Airways will be offering daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman to New York City. That's right, Cayman Airways is going daily to New York City starting this December. Stroll through Central Park or take in the bright lights of Times Square, enjoy a Broadway show, or visit museums, the Empire State Building, and so much more. Whether you're visiting for business or pleasure, you'll fall in love with New York City. And daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman aboard Cayman Airways starting this December. For details and to book, call Cayman Airways reservations at 949-2311. Contact a travel agent or visit CaymanAirways.com.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We have a round table panel here in the studio. My name is Orrett Connor. I'm filling in for Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And on International Men's Day, we're discussing some important issues that men face in today's society. This is the eighth year that the Family Resource Center has been observing International Men's Day here in the Cayman Islands. And, of course, the international theme for 2018 is Positive Male Role Models. Participating in this roundtable discussion, we have Mr. Christopher Murray, who's the school counselor at John Gray High School and the organizer of Boys to Men Club at John Gray High School. Also with us, Mr. Tristan Webster, student from the Boys to Men's Club, John Gray High School. Mr. Kendall Zelaya from that club also. We also have Mr. Jason Dunkley, who's a counselor at the Counseling Center. Mr. William Duran, educator and music director. Mr. Scott Ruby, he's a funeral director, but we don't really have him here in his capacity as a funeral director. Scott is highly involved in many activities here in the Cayman Islands, positive activities here in the Cayman Islands. And of course, we also have with us none other than the Director of Sports, Mr. Colin Anglin, and Miss Raquel Duhaney, who's the program facilitator at the Family Resource Center. Before we went to the break, we were going to talk to Mr. Tristan Webster. We were going to give him an opportunity.
Christopher Murray.
Christopher Murray, sorry. Too many people around the table. I'm getting confused.
That's
Mr.
Right,
Murray.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
I'd firstly like to also express my great appreciation to the Family Resource Center for having this annual event of positively focusing on men, as we are presently living in a condescending time as it pertains to the male role. I'd like to piggyback on what Mr. Anglin said earlier on. From the psychosocial standpoint, children do learn from observation. What they observe is what they ultimately strive to become. And I think one of the problems that we are engaging with from my profession is that you find that there are a number of men who avoid from being vulnerable at all costs. And so they'll put forth this figure of being strong all day long, in spite of even feelings of wanting to fall apart. And I think the whole idea of projecting the Superman position and ignoring the vulnerability of the Clark Kent place, I think that's where most of our boys, most of our men are feeling, because I think the true lessons of the reality of life is really taught in that vulnerable position. And if we can go beyond the scene and really show forth how some of us have done it, how we have survived during the time of vulnerability. And my success in the Boys to Men program is that we try to enhance two words: relevance and identity. Relevance is to be able to self-disclose and be able to say to the boys, I understand exactly what you're going through. I know where you are and I've been there before, while maintaining your identity that, I am the man in this position here now. And so the ladder, the rung is being able to be visible, so they're able to understand much clearer.
Okay, and of course the two most important persons around this table are the two young men here. Mr. Tristan Webster, who is a student from the Boys to Men's Club at John Gray High School, and Mr. Kendall Zelaya as well. Gentlemen, I welcomed you earlier, and what the question that I have for each of you, and you can answer it individually, is what are some of the expectations that society has placed on you that you feel that are challenging at this stage of your development in your life? Some of the expectations, some of the challenges that you face, albeit whether it be in school or whether it be when you're interacting with your peers.
Well, for me, it's mainly in school, because we have to be on time to our classes, get good grades, understand what we're aiming for, and understand what we're trying to achieve for. So basically, the best option for all of us as in Boys to Men is to try to excel, is try to succeed in what we're trying to achieve.
Do you find that some of the things like social media, wanting to party, do they place additional pressures on you when you have to choose between doing what you want to do and doing what people tell you that you should be doing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, because there's a time for everything. There's a time for everything and everything. But school, you should put school. My mom always told me to put school first over friends and over fun time. Because if you look at it, when it comes to having fun, you can actually get into trouble. And trouble is very easy to get into, but it's very hard to get out. and that sets a bad repetition for yourself. So I always focus on school and do what's best for me. So going to classes, setting a good example for others, helping others, working with other classmates, just simple stuff like that can get you far in life. And a good example. That's the best thing to do as a young man, to set examples for others and stuff. Because if you do that, everybody will look at you different. Because I never always did good in high school. For the first 2 years, 7, 8, and 9, I was like a rebel. I never used to do good. But life actually hit me. Because as a 15-year-old, I can actually admit it, that it actually hit me, because as a young child, I was always the man of the house. My dad wasn't always around. So I never really had someone to look up to. I never had my father figure to look up to. I always looked up to my aunts, my grandma, my mom, my uncles, and they all have good jobs. They all make money. The money, they have the cars, but they also realize that family comes first. So they take care of us and help, and we all communicate. And I never really had my dad to do that type of stuff with.
So with that experience and the lack of having a father figure or a real father around you, what do you want to be when you become a man? What type of life do you envisage? What kind of a family man do you want to be based on your experience?
Just to be a better father to my child than my dad ever was to me. Because I always grew up with my mom, and so she always taught me to have respect for women and have respect for elders. So I want to have respect for ladies and the elderlies and stuff. Being able to provide for my family, even if it doesn't matter how much children I have, I still being able to provide, do stuff for them, do stuff with them. Just paying the bills, being a man of the house, like the lion of the jungle.
Okay. And anything you want to add to that in terms of your what do you want to be based on your life experience as a child, as a young man? And is there any person, and you don't necessarily have to call them by name, that you would want to emulate, that you would want to be like, that you see and you admire their lifestyle, the way that they approach life, and you would like to be like them?
Well, to be honest, I would like to be like my mother, because she's a very strong role model to me. She helps me a lot in school, and she helps me to become a better man myself. And I look up to her because she's been through a lot, and where she is now is she's doing really good.
Okay. Folks around the table, we're hearing, a theme that is resonating amongst from these two young men, the role models that they look at, that they look towards, their mothers, female in the family. Does that say something about our society? What does that say in terms of single parentage? What does that say in terms of men who simply, some people will say, they're sperm donors and nothing else, and they simply don't
that makes me
take care of their responsibilities. What does that say about our society? How do we approach that? How can we change that?
If I can I think there's an important lesson that both the young men have kind of brought up, and before we kind of focus on the absence of fathers, I think...
Come a little closer to the mic for you.
Yeah, is that any better? So before we focus on the absence of fathers, you've both talked about the importance of very strong women in your life. And I think for the males that are present in families and for the fathers with young children, I think it's really important to be mindful of that and make sure that when we are raising our children that we are not holding them or withholding them from that female influence, and encouraging them to have contact with their sisters and their cousins and their mothers and their grandmothers, because we are our fathers and we are our mothers, and we need the influence of both. And when we're talking about the vulnerability and the importance of being open, where better to learn that from the females in our families. So for the fathers that are present and the people that do have influence over young children, make sure we are bringing in the whole family to raise our children.
Yes, yes. Mr. Anglin, you want to add something to that?
Sure, and I think a lot of times I will make my analogies from a sports perspective. But a few things that really jumped out at me as I listened to our young men talk was I'm very proud of you guys that you're conscious about certain things at your age, and especially that you can identify something that you may not like. And you can say, look, I know that when I grow up, I want to make sure this is in place for me. I can certainly relate. I mean, my mother and father separated very early in my life. I always felt loved. I'm grateful for that. But I didn't grow up in that traditional household, right? But I'm very, very grateful that growing up, I had a lot of friends that had that setting at home, and from me seeing the family, eating at the table, for dinner, and those are a lot of things that I didn't experience. But by me seeing a lot of that, I knew that was what I wanted for my family. I could see that, and I said, that's what I want. This is the way it's supposed to be. And so I certainly vowed that, when I got older and it was my turn, that I would make sure that would be my family setting, that would be what I would do for my family and for my children. I also want to say that it's very important that we realize first and foremost the importance of the father at home. Right, there are incredible statistics. I mean, just all over the place. I want us to do a bit more research in Cayman, but in terms of the influence on children that grow up in fatherless homes, I mean, they're much more likely. In terms of girls, they're much more likely to get pregnant as teenagers. Children are much more likely to higher risks of suicide, higher risks of dropping out of high school. I mean, it is incredible. And the point is that it does take a team. It takes a team because one person didn't make the child, right? So it takes a team, and ultimately it takes the village. That was the theme at YCLA this year, right? It takes a village to raise a child, and I'm extremely grateful for that because I had so many other people that influenced me from different walks of life and that were all around me that did little things that absolutely made a difference in my life. So and we all here, we represent different areas of society. So in terms of on my side with sports, the experiences that I had with my coaches were absolutely critical because in that sporting environment, that did give me a place where I grew my self-confidence. That was a place where, of course, learning from coaches, first and foremost, getting to practice. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, that's unacceptable. You learn those things very, very early. You learn about the importance of hard work and dedication, and those things really take you throughout your life. So I'm very grateful that in the absence of certain things, I did have a buffer through sports and church. Those were two extremely great areas of support that I had for my life. And so it just, that was my important thing, is that it takes a village to raise a child, and that's what we really have to get back to, because it's not the same Cayman that it used to be.
Yep.
But that's what it takes.
Okay, I'd like to hear from Scott as well as Mr. Duran.
Well, it takes a village to raise a child, but it also takes a village to raise an idiot. And you have to be careful about the people that are having the influence on our children, right? I go back to that same philosophy of if they're not going to find it at home, they're going to find it, love and acceptance and all the rest of it. And I go right back with Mr. Anglin with sports being a fantastic outlet, as long as it's a reasonable outlet. Just because you play football or just because you play basketball or you run track and all the rest of that doesn't mean you're going to the Olympics. It means you're doing something valuable with your time and learning a valuable skill. And if that's all you get out of it, and you really cherish that, and cherish the camaraderie with your mates while you're out there doing it, cherish the fact that you've done your very best at all times, and you held yourself accountable. And when you win, and when you lose, you don't blame somebody else. And you hold those things true to your heart, it'll just move on. It takes a village to raise a child. Employers need to look into employing children. Insurance companies need to let children under 22, whatever it is, for insurance to drive cars. How can I hire somebody to come work for me if I can't get them in a car to drive when they have a driver's license? Little things like that. let's go with there's that thing with equity and equality that I was just taught not too long ago, and I didn't really get it at first. I thought everybody had to come from the same start line, when that's not necessarily true. Yeah. These guys and I can go apply for the same job, but if I have the simple ability to drive a car and be insured and he doesn't, well, that's not really equity. That's just equality. Yes. Same start line, same car, we'll get the work done, but it's not really right. And we get wrapped up into this whole thing, well, that's not fair, and that sounds like a lot of crying. And sometimes it is. But if we really make sure that we're giving young people, young men and women, a good start and a good opportunity to get a handhold and a foothold on life, then they'll do well. They just have to be given proper opportunities, and when they get that opportunity, shown how to take advantage of it. But telling that child that you can be anything you want to be just because you want it. Usain Bolt doesn't wish himself up onto that podium. You didn't wish yourself into cycling greatness. You worked. I see you working, and I see you doing it. So that's why I get back into it takes a village to raise an idiot. Because this guy who doesn't try, doesn't want, doesn't do anything but want, is not going to be anything. He's going to fail. Yep. And that's setting a kid up for failure. It's the worst that we can do for them. Giving them the opportunities and the tool to succeed, making sure they know how to use those tools, and expecting them to use those tools for greatness. That's how you get something out of them. There's blame and there's responsibility. If you teach them one over the other, they'll do it the rest of themselves.
Okay, Mr. Duran?
I'm not very... I had all these great things to say about modelling behaviour and about how fantastic it is that there are positive role models in schools and with music. But actually, if it's okay, I'll just go with what comes to mind.
True.
Seeing Scott again is a big deal. I was married and my wife died a couple of years ago, leaving me with 2 small children. And one of the things that I remember about this was talking to Scott and having absolutely no idea how, as a man with 2 children and no wife, I was going to get through today, never mind tomorrow. And you talk before about vulnerability. Chris, you mentioned it. And I think we would all agree, having listened around the table, that we're talking about men being strong, and I listen to what you say, the lion of the jungle. I hear that, and one of the things that comes to mind listening is that one of the hardest things I've done in my life is fall to bits and be broken with 2 children who are also broken, and work through that brokenness, and try to be honest about vulnerability, be honest about the fact that I couldn't go back to work because I couldn't leave my children by themselves. And I had to close my company because I couldn't, there was no other way around. And to go to what Mr. Angler says about the village, there was a village. There were lots of people who came and they cared and they carried me. And I didn't cook for 6 months. It was great. And there was an awful lot of kindness. But there was an awful lot of brokenness as well. And being honest about that is something that I'm really proud of in retrospect, because 2.5 years later I have managed to hold my family together and create an extra and develop that family and get married again and try hard. And the reason I'm talking about this rather than the greatness of is because of what you said when it comes down to being honest. My late wife was a psychodynamic counsellor, came from the UK. She worked with lots and lots of people, and she talked about the authenticity of personal integrity. I was always impressed when I heard that, and I talked about it in schools when I was the dean of students or the head of religious education or whatever it was I was doing in schools. This sense of personal integrity, and that there are standards, and those standards of society are great and good to work towards. But I think, in retrospect, the only authority that really, not that really matters, that's the wrong way of saying it, but that counts immediately when you're looking into the eyes of two children who are literally broken-hearted. You know, you've just told them that their mum is dead, that she's not coming home, and they fall to bits because that's what children do. Well, that's what everybody does, right? And from that point, going through all the motions of making sure that they, in our family, we pray over night time and we come together and making sure they have a chance to be upset and to be happy and to feel supported and to work from a basis of positive regard. Now that the years have gone by, looking back at that, I'm proud of my own vulnerability and of the fact that I was able to say, I'm broken and I can't really do much. Let's try and get through it together. And we did, and we've become a bigger family, and I'm in a very lucky position of being able to move forward. I'm sorry that wasn't necessarily where we were going.
That's quite fine.
I guess it's just the truth from my perspective.
Sure. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, I want to ask the two young men amongst us, Mr. Kendall Zelaya and Mr. Tristan Webster, if you had a man in your life now, a father figure in your life, some of the things that you would want him to do with you, some of the things that you would like to do together as father and son. Folks, please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
The Paramount Carpet pre-Christmas blowout sale is back. For one whole week, starting Monday, November 19th through Saturday, November 24th. Save big with assorted remnant tiles, $250 square foot, $100 a pallet. Assorted remnant granite slabs as low as $300 a slab. Ceramic tiles as low as 75 cents a square foot. Porcelain tiles as low as 99 cents a square foot. Area rugs, 35% off. Carpets, 25% off. Tools, 10% off. And all other in-house tiles, 20% off. Cash and carry. It's the big blowout sale at the Paramount Carpet, located at 317 North Sound Road, Industrial Park. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 7:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 949-5000.
Do a whole lot more than just cover your floor at Paramount Carpet.
South Coast Bar and Grill up in Breakers, man, that is the place. For traditional Cayman cuisine, oh, you will love the taste. At South Coast Bar and Grill, we got conch and lobster and turtle stew. And every Sunday, come out with your family for the barbecue.
South Coast Bar and Grill by the seaside, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, lunch and dinner. Call us at 947-2517.
For Cayman and cuisine, the talk today is South Coast Bar and Grill.
Congratulations, it's a boy.
During the greatest events of your life, whether or not you have the right health insurance coverage should be the last thing on your mind. That's why at Fidelity Health, we are committed to helping you get matched with the right plan to suit you and your family. We offer a range of plans to suit your budget, plus access to a network of quality care throughout the Caribbean and the USA. You can relax and enjoy life's greatest moments when you are covered with Fidelity Health. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote.
Brand Source Home Gallery has been appointed the exclusive Cayman supplier for Duravit bathroom products. Duravit is the leading international manufacturer of bathroom ceramics, tubs, and showers, recognized around the world for beautiful, functional products. Winner of top industry awards, Duravit collaborates with leading European designers to provide the most elegant and innovative bath products. If you're ready to bring style, comfort, and innovation to your bathroom, visit Brand Source Home Gallery to see the new Duravit showroom and meet the in-house bath designer. Whether you're planning a functional family bathroom or a personal spa retreat, browse the Duravit collection and be inspired. Brand Source Home Gallery, delivering a new standard in custom designed bathrooms. Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Cayman's cruise industry must be preserved and developed. It is a myth that the cruise lines will continue to call on Cayman at the rate they do now without the piers. It is a fact that the mega-class ships will not be tendered. Arrivals will decline by half over time as the older ships are decommissioned. This will hurt our economy and thousands of Caymanians who work in this industry. If we want to continue providing opportunities for Caymanians, we need the piers. Support the peers. Support our tourism.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We're discussing issues that men face on this International Men's Day, Monday the 19th day of November 2018. And amongst the panelists that we have here, we have two young men, Mr. Tristan Webster and Mr. Kendall Zelaya. They're students from the Boys to Men's Club at the John Gray High School. And before we went to the commercial break, I said we wanted to ask them a question in relation to if there were men in their lives at this point in time, family figure who were male, what would they want them to do? But I'm going to ask Miss Charmaine to add a little bit more spice to that question.
So, what we want to find out from
Raquel, I'm sorry. I said Charmaine. I'm sorry, Miss Raquel.
I'm embodying Charmaine today. I'm channeling her. Essentially, what I want to know is, what do our boys need? It's great for men to be modeling for our boys, but what if we are modeling what we think they need and not what they actually need? And we like to use this golden rule about treating people how, we want to be treated. Well, the platinum rule is treat people how they want to be treated. A lot of the times what's in our head or what's okay with us is not okay with someone else. And so since we have them here, let's ask them, what do you need in a role model based on the issues that you are currently facing in the time that you're growing up? Because the time that you're growing up in is different than what a lot of men experienced. And this now will be the challenge for all the listeners, for all the panelists, and for every person who is hearing the response to decide, this is what I need to now model for our boys.
Well, I do have a role model, and that's my uncle, as I said before. And one thing he always told me, he still continues to tell me, is wanting something and needing something is two different things. You can want to be the best, and you would take handouts from anyone. You just sit around and wait for it to come, but needing to be the best is something different. You'll stop at nothing. You'll do whatever it takes to be the best. If something is in your way, you'll jump right over it. Like, as a kid, I always wanted to be the best at what I do. And I used to play sports my whole life. And I still play basketball. And I used to play football before. And he always told me that wanting to be the best and needing to be the best is something different. And I know that I have a lot of people that look up to me and idolize me as a 15-year-old. Like, I have a younger brother who's 9. And he grew up the same as me, like, without my dad being around and stuff. So my uncle stepped in, and he's like a big brother to me. So, like, he takes me fishing whenever I want to do that. If I need to go to the barber, to look good for the ladies and stuff, he takes me. If I need to go and get some groceries and stuff, if I need someone to work out with, like, physical training and stuff, he would do that with me. If I need to open up to someone. Yeah, he's just always, he has my back. He's my wingman. Yeah, that's my father figure to me. So, like, it's all, to me, it's all weird because my dad, he's way different. Like, he had that side of the family has a way different lifestyle than us. Like, they live, West Bay. That's a crazy place to be in. Hard to make it out. I didn't mean it in a bad way, but being able to make it out, that's very hard. So, like, my uncle, he just steps in, and when I start to fall, he picks me up.
Okay.
So, like, yeah.
We have a call, but before we take that caller, we want to hear from Mr. Webster as well, and I'm going to ask you to put on your headphones so that you can hear the caller as well. But we want a response from you as well, Mr. Webster. Zelaya, sorry, got him wrong. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I also have a role model. Sorry.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that's my stepfather. He helps me a lot. He tells me the best thing to have is education. Good looks can't carry anywhere. Being the best at something can't carry anywhere. Once you have education, you can go as far as you want. And he also helps me physically. He helps me exercise, and he helps me to keep my body in shape, to keep fit. And he helps me with basically everything. So even though he isn't my biological father, but he still helps me a lot.
But he's there for you physically as well as emotionally.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate him a lot.
Excellent, excellent. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I was just catching pieces of your conversations today. However, I just wanted to make this clear that a lot of times you'd have parents putting their children against the next spouse and poison the children's mind about their fathers especially. And I know there are really good fathers out there, and the moms need to stop it because it will make the children's relationships stronger with their dad. And I got to go now. So I just want to state that they need to stop it because it's not fair to the child. In other words, you're saying, if your dad is not a good dad, why then would you have a baby by a person that's not a good father? So it's up to the mother to make them know the goodness in their fathers, and they need to stop that because children nowadays need both parents in their lives, especially a dad. So you all have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much for that. We have about 5 minutes to go, but there's one very important question, and I'm going to start. The question is, in the work that you do, what are some of the things that you notice about men and boys that you interface with? And we'll start at this end of the table.
Okay, thank you, Mr. QC. Well, first, I'd like to say I agree with the caller 100%. It's devastating for any of the side of the parent to demoralize and to condescend in any way any of the parent, especially with the fathers, because what it does, it destroys the image of perhaps the superhero in the boy's life, and it has ongoing hurts along with it. With the Boys to Men program, one of the things I try to project with the boys, based upon my observation, there's something that I learned some time ago, and they said the word man is the shortening of the word manager. And so we try to express and explain to the guys and exhibit as much as we possibly can how to manage your time, manage your responsibilities, and just to manage your life on a whole. Because if you can't manage yourself, ultimately you won't be able to manage anything else. And one of the things that I have also observed is, and this is coming back from my years of growing up as well, where the word fidelity is considered as an inferior tendency to the other side. We're having several females, girlfriends, etc. is quite celebrated. And what I've noticed over time is that, the gentleman who has several girlfriends, he is celebrated, he is uplifted, and going around to play the field and sow his royal roots, as you would say, as many as he possibly can, is looked upon in a positive way. However, the offset of that is there are many more fatherless homes, many more children without a father figure there, somebody who's taking up the responsibility. So we try to project as possibly as we can when it comes to having a relationship and understanding the value of a relationship and being responsible in that relationship.
Okay, we're going to go around the table very quickly again to the other 4 participants in terms of the same question. Some of the things that you've noticed in men and boys that you interface with, Mr. Anglin.
Well, Aristotle said that you can learn more about a person in 1 hour of play than in 10 hours of conversation. So for sports, it teaches, every time I observe someone playing sports, I learn a lot about that person, because if we're just having a conversation, I can pretend to be whoever I want to be. But when you're in a sports setting, you don't have that time for that type of control. You have to react a lot of times. So the true you comes out. It comes out in a person to see, okay, how good are they with working with people? Do they crumble under pressure? Do they step up to the challenge? Can they motivate others around them, etc.? How strong is their willpower? How do they handle defeat as well as victory? You learn all of those things. One thing that I've seen that's very critical is creating a larger vision for a person. I think as men, we can be very focused when you give us a task to do. We like to say we got this particular thing accomplished. So goal setting, a lot of times when an athlete, if they say, hey, I want to become a professional player or something, I say, okay, you got to first know that it's not going to be easy. You have to be willing to put in the work. Is it possible? Absolutely. You have to be willing to put in the work for it, though. Understand that other people are trying to do that. But now that you've identified what that child really wants to do, it will be a lot easier for you to actually keep that child on a straight path if you can show them how to get there. Okay, well, first and foremost, if you want to get there, then first you got to graduate from high school. The better your grades are, the next step is you want to get to college. So if you want to get recruited, then you start to connect the dots for them, right? In terms of why is it important for you to do all these different things to become a better athlete and increase your opportunities of being a professional player.
Okay, Ms. Susan, I haven't done a good job with time management, but we still have 3 more that we want to hear from. Do we want to take the break at 2 and then ask them to stay an extra 5 minutes, or should we go? Are we going to take a break, come back, and we're going to ask you to stay an extra 5 minutes so that I can obtain answers from the other 3 participants as well? Folks, please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
A man aged 31 of Buddentown has been formally charged with 2 counts of burglary in relation to 2 incidents where residences were broken into and a number of personal items and jewelry stolen on April 18th at an address on South Sound Road in Georgetown and on April 25th at an address on Lavender Way in Buddentown. The man appears in court this afternoon. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. The education billionaire Yu Min-hung has courted controversy with comments he made about Chinese women on Saturday. The founder of the New Oriental Group claimed during an education forum that Chinese women were partly responsible for declining moral standards in the country. The value of Bitcoin has fallen below $5,000 for the first time since October 2017. The fall brought the total value of all Bitcoin in existence to below $87 billion. At its peak in November 2017, it briefly hit $19,783, which means the price has fallen by about 75%. And Diddy has paid tribute to his ex, Kim Porter, who died last week. The American rapper said they were more than soulmates in a series of emotional posts on Twitter and Instagram. The model and actress was 47 and was the mother of 3 of Diddy's children. Numerous celebrities paid tribute to her last week, but this is the first time Diddy has broken his silence. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
To the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. My name is Orrett Connor, filling in for Sterling Dwayne Ebanks on International Men's Day today. In collaboration with the Family Resource Center, we have a panel discussion around the issues that men face. One of the questions that we have going around the table at this point in time has to do with in the work that you do. What are some of the things that you notice about men and boys that you interface with? And we've already received some responses from some of our participants. We now wait to hear from Mr. William Duran, Mr. Scott Ruby, and Mr. Scott Ruby. We have Mr. Jason Dunkley. Mr. Duran and Mr. Ruby.
I'm a therapist with the Department of Counselling, and I suppose one of the things I will see with regards to men very regularly is understanding about healthy relationships. So the prevalence of domestic violence in Grand Cayman. And the assumption is talking about men as perpetrators of domestic violence, which is very true. I have a lot of contact with that, but there's also men as victims of domestic violence as well, which comes back to one of the themes that's kind of come today about allowing themselves to be vulnerable and talk about that. Because the damage that's done that I've seen, isn't the physical damage; it's the emotional damage of not having anywhere to take that, not having anyone to talk to about that, trying to make sense of what it means to their own perception of what manhood is when they've become the victim of domestic violence. So I'm aware of time. So yeah, I think as role models, as fathers, as male members of society, what I think would be helpful to do is to really show and talk about what a healthy relationship is, to teach our daughters what a healthy relationship is. And so I just changed the subject very slightly. Something that stuck into my head. Yes. Just very briefly, you mentioned about being the lion, king of the jungle.
Yes, sir.
Just remember, if you look, the lionesses do most of the work.
Yeah.
So just remember that.
Good advice. Scott?
Well, it's kind of interesting as an undertaker. My perspective of things actually ties into two things that I noticed ran through both of their answers, of the things that they would that they appreciate from their current role models. Not once did either one of them say, "Oh, he gives me $100," "Oh, he gives me this iPhone here, iPhone that, car that." They never mentioned it once. The only thing they mentioned was something that's on my mind every day as an undertaker, and that's time. All the things that those gentlemen are doing for these young gentlemen are related to and centered around spending quality time. And you really can't buy it, and you definitely can't buy it back. And I can tell you that from where I sit as an undertaker. So as an undertaker, I would ask you even a question further, and it's something to think about later. What will they say about you at your funeral? What is it that they're going to say about you? And are they telling the truth? Because I've buried quite a few folks in my 32 years of undertaking, and I'm sure a few of them have been scoundrels. I would like to know that when I'm done, that they won't have to lie, and they won't have to fill in spots and kind of embellish those things. Yes. So I would encourage all men, while you're here, is to take advantage of that time. Take advantage of that time with your children, with your wife. Take advantage of that time to check your own health. Take advantage of that time to be vulnerable enough, as we've discussed, to go do some of the health work that might not be as pleasant as a day at the pitch, but will give you more days at the pitch, right? You got to do some of those things, and pride's a nasty thing. Pride will get you in the box as fast as anything. So, yeah, time.
That's true. Mr. Duran.
It's hard to follow again. Sitting next to Scott's difficult. I'm just thinking about that question. What will they say about you when you're gone? And you ask about, in your field of stuff. I've been very lucky to be involved with a couple of things in life that have made me happy. One of them was finding a place on a planet with the lowest life expectancy in 2007 and going to the Kazangula region in Zambia and Africa and building a green school and teaching little girls to read and changing. The impact is overwhelming. Another one of the things that is overwhelming is like the Father's First programme that's run, and the effect and the help that goes into that. Working as a deputy head or a dean of students or setting up CMC. The Cayman Music Collective, and working with young Caymanians producing music. I have to say, I hope that when I go, they say good things about me. But if I could write my own eulogy, I would say that I am the most proud of being a dad when I was needed to be a dad, and of being more recently a stepfather when I am needed to be a stepfather, and once again in life now to be a husband when I'm needed to be a husband. And if I can get those things right, and if I can build upon them, then hopefully when I go, they'll probably just say he supported Liverpool football. That was really the best thing he did. I'm being silly, forgive me, but being a dad is the way forward. Fellas, when you grow up, if you're lucky enough to fall madly in love with a woman, and to be a equal opposite, and just to complete each other. If you're lucky enough to find that, marry her and have lots of children and be incredible.
Not lots.
All right. No, good enough. All right, okay. But be happy.
Yeah. You two young men, anything that you want to say before you leave, and anything else that we haven't said that you may want to address, or any closing comments that you may have? Pull the mic towards you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or you may want to address your peers, your fellow students at school or whatever.
With the boys in my program, like everybody that was there, they used to either have something against each other, like they used to dislike each other.
Mm-hmm.
And being in the program allowed us to form together as one. Like each of us put in our little brains to make one huge brain. And like it all out was just crazy. It's a crazy experience, and I'm glad to say that I'm a part of the program, because I'm going to learn a lot from it, and it's going to have a big impact on my life. As so far, like, look now, I'm in a radio station.
Yes, and doing well, performing well.
And like my uncle, he always told me that there's 2 S curse words. There's sin and steal. And every day you sin. Every day you would do something wrong, but that's just following your gut feeling. And my mom always told me to follow your gut feeling. Do what you think's best for you. But there's no one that can say, oh, he stole, he did this and that. So like, I just try my best to set a good repetition for myself and be the best I can be, and just be myself.
Okay, Mr. Zelaya, pull the mic towards you.
Well, as being a member from the Boys to Men program, I would like to thank Mr. Murray for teaching us to become gentlemen. He's been a strong impact on all of us. He helped us with many things. He taught us a lot, and he's helping us to become good gentlemen.
Okay. Mr. Murray, I'm going to give you an opportunity to say something to the 2 young men who just spoke highly of you as well.
Oh my, I'm humbled at their words, and of course, I deem it a great opportunity just to be able to serve these young men and to watch them develop and broaden their scope on life and to see things in a brighter way. Of course, the Boys to Men group this year, we are hosting about 35 boys, and just Saturday gone, they came together and they painted one of their bus wardens' house. Right, and they were so excited to do it. They want to participate. They want to give back to their community, and we're aiming to perhaps in January they're going to be escorting their mothers on a fine dining night where they'll be focusing on the true first lady of their lives. The Ritz-Carlton gave them the opportunity to be trained in social etiquettes, and they're just excited, and they're fantastic boys. It's great working with them.
Okay, well, young men, I want to wish you all the best, and based on the example that you've set here, you're well on your way. Continue to live a positive lifestyle. We know that there are going to be many challenges that you're going to face growing up, much more than we faced when we were growing up, because there's so many other things, social media and everything else that's facing you. But I want to wish you all the best. Miss Susan, we're going to take an early break, and Miss Raquel is going to remain with us so that we will talk about the Family Resource Center and its activities as well. Folks, please stay tuned. Talk Today will be back shortly. And I want to thank all of my guests around the round table this afternoon for their participation and their input as well.
We know you like a little bit of fun. So if you're not too busy and you wouldn't mind winning some free fuel, join us at an Esso station for 1 hour every Friday while this offer lasts. This Friday, we're giving you the chance to spin the wheel and win free fuel. Simply spend $10 at the pump or in-store for your lucky chance. So see you at our H&B Shedden Road service station between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. Esso. Energy lives here. The Esso brand is a trademark of ExxonMobil Corporation and is used under license.
Congratulations, it's a boy.
During the greatest events of your life, whether or not you have the right health insurance coverage should be the last thing on your mind. That's why at Fidelity Health, we are committed to helping you get matched with the right plan to suit you and your family. We offer a range of plans to suit your budget, plus access to a network of quality care throughout the Caribbean and the USA. You can relax and enjoy life's greatest moments when you are covered with Fidelity Health. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote.
You remember the sale at Vant Motors?
Yeah, the Your Sale, Your Choice, the one where you can get cash back or can put the savings to extend the warranty or upgrade features?
Yes, it's still going on, but now you can get $8,000 off a new Ford Ranger truck. $8,000, you know?
You for real?
Come see for yourself. While they still have so much to choose from, save big during Your Sale, Your Choice at Vant Motors. With almost every vehicle on sale, you decide whether to get your dream ride at its lowest price. Take cash back, add years to the warranty or service plan. Choose an add-on or mix your options. Your sale, your choice, because you know what you need, and Vant Motors will help you drive it home. Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
Cayman Brack, yes, it is your turn. The Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run will be stopping by Southside Public Beach Saturday, November 24th.
Runners, on your mark.
Help support the So-and-So Club and join Radio Cayman for the Brack Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run.
Go.
The first 100 participants will receive a shirt and a goodie bag. Register at District Administration or online at www.caymanactive.com.
Let's go. Make no excuses now. I'm talking here and now.
Cayman Kind is the Cayman experience.
We work at the Cayman Craft Market.
It is a myth that we do not need the cruise ship industry.
It is a fact that when there are no ships in port, we do not earn a living. We depend on the cruise industry, and if it was to reduce by half, many others just like us would suffer immensely. We want to work and provide for our families.
We need the pier.
Support the piers. Support our tourism.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. Orrett Connor filling in for Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. We've been talking about International Men's Day and the activities centered around that, all facilitated by the Family Resource Center. And we're happy to have in the studio with us still Miss Raquel Duhaney, who's the program facilitator for the Family Resource Center. And also Mr. William Duran has remained with us also, and he's an educator and a music director. I'm going to throw the mic over to Miss Raquel now. Miss Raquel.
All right, thank you.
You finally get to talk, right?
And you know what? I really felt good that I did not have to say very much, because I think it's important that when we're talking about men's issues, we're hearing men talk about men's issues and talking to men. And so I'm hoping that anyone who was listening today was not just listening going, yep, I agree with him. Yeah, I agree with him. And actually thinking about, what do I need to challenge myself to do? I know quite often we'll talk about integrity and, we talk about social responsibility. What is your social responsibility to step up and be a role model to take on these issues? Because if we all sit back and go, hey, you know what? My kids are great. That's not my problem. Or, oh, you know what? I'm not a dad, so thank goodness I don't have to deal with this. Then what we get is a whole bunch of people doing nothing and the issues continuing to perpetuate themselves.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the other thing, I know we tend to, we're shifting interchangeably between the term men and the term fathers. But the reason why we call it International Men's Day is because regardless of whether you're a father or not, these issues are addressing and affecting our community. And you don't have to be a father to be affected. You don't have to be a father to care about the outcomes of our society or future or children, because they might not be your children that you birthed, but they're going to be the doctor that you need to go to in the future, and they're going to need to be the counselor that you go to, or the person who serves you your food at Burger King, or the person who's packing your groceries at Foster's, whatever it is that they're going to be. At some stage in the future, you're going to depend on their service. Now, if we were ineffective in supporting them when they were young, if we did not model for them and teach them who they needed to be and how to do that, right, then we've set ourselves up to fail. We've set them up to fail, but we've set ourselves up to fail as well. So it's an everyone issue.
Okay. Well, while we still have one of our male participants here, I can ask, another question that we had on here, and that had to do with if you could challenge the men in our community and the role that they play as role models for our boys, what would you tell them? And based on the experience that you faced yourself, Mr. Duran?
I think in many ways there are lots of different things that influence men as they're growing up, and obviously culture is one of them. I grew up in a city in Liverpool. I mentioned earlier on before I was married in the past, and unfortunately my wife passed away. And her dad is a West Indian man. He grew up in Trinidad.
Okay.
And so when we talked about the differences of cultures, I think it's affected by where you're at as well. I recently got remarried, and my new stepfather grew up in Birmingham, which isn't his fault, But I'm joking.
Sure.
But I think massively what happens is that culture brings to bear an awful lot on the individual. However, that being the case, there are absolutes, and one of the absolutes is that if children are to grow up well, they need to be grow up loved. And it doesn't really, in my humble opinion, matter the capacity of whether a person's got a master's degree or whether they haven't, or whether they're a superhero or a super sportsman or not. If they're loved, and if they are modelled loving behaviour, and if they're modelled kindness and compassion and positive regard, then the impact is overwhelming. They grow into young men who are able to care for each other, who are able to be open and balanced, and they grow up into fathers who are able to love their wives appropriately and love their sons and their daughters appropriately, And yeah, I'm going to quote someone around the table. I'm not going to mention who it is, but a person once said to me, I don't have all of the answers, but I'm willing to try to find them, or I'm willing to try my best until I get it. I love that idea.
Yes,
I really do. And if we can grow young men with a capacity to be open-minded enough to say to themselves, all right, I might not know how to do this, or I might not know where to go or what to say there, but if I'm willing to try with an open mind and with compassion, with kindness, with fairness, I always go on about personal integrity, but I really believe it, I really genuinely do. If we are to hold ourselves to any standard that is high integrity and being compassionate, I think for me personally they're massively important. So whilst I said that it depends where you're from and what you grow up with, there are always constants. Young men are always told, and you hear our young men today talk about being strong and being the lion and all that business, and I think it's in our nature to want to be the best and want to be biggest and you want to be fastest when you're a kid, and you want to be the cleverest in class, or you want to be whatever, boxer, wrestler, superstar, whatever it is. It's in us, that competitive nature. I think it's essentially in us as a species. But to want to be good is a difficult thing to correlate, isn't it? Because it's so multifaceted. In my opinion, being good is trying your very, very best and being open to perhaps the reality that we don't have all the answers. And as soon as we start saying that we do have all the answers and telling people to do it, there's a special uniform for people like that, isn't there? So it's one of them.
So, Ms. Raquel, where do we go from here? As far as the Family Resource Center is concerned, tell us about some of the good work that you're doing and what you envisage for the future.
So I'll speak to a couple of points that Will made as well, and then we'll get into what we do at FRC as well as our event this evening. So this talk of culture, I know a lot of us use this as the building that we hide behind, right? We like to say that, it's in our culture for men to be strong. It's in our culture for boys to have to be tough. It's in our culture for us to discipline our boys harshly and nurture our girls, right? The thing is, though, people make culture. And I think when we stop using it as an excuse and understand that whenever we don't like anything else in life, we make every effort to change it. If there are things in our culture that we don't like, that we don't agree with, that we don't believe in, then we need to change it. I often use, when I do groups, this analogy of a computer, and I see yours in front of me. If you search it, you might not even find a CD player anymore. You definitely won't find, back when we were in school, a floppy disk drive. That's and right. I keep talking about, if I had this floppy disk and I'm certain that this has always worked for me and it's always going to work, well, where will you ever find a computer with one of those in it now? Because these things have evolved. Mm-hmm. And if we decide that we're stuck in our ways because this is just the way it is, this is the way I've always done it, then times and everything else is gonna progress, it's gonna change, it's gonna transition, and we're gonna be very stuck with pretty much something that's not going to serve us any purpose. Precisely. We need to start looking at evolving our culture. We need to start looking at evolving our parenting styles. We need to start evolve the way that we interact and engage with each other. Like this whole concept of boys need to be tough, girls are nurturers, this box that we live in, these gender roles, like when we don't start to make those changes, then we set our future up for failure, not just our boys, but our future, because we'll then be raising boys who are not able to be considerate to wives. We'll be raising boys who are not able to nurture their daughters and their sons. We'll be raising boys who live in this false sense of masculinity and not be able to engage appropriately and emotionally, right? Their psychological well-being will be in danger. I know we're very quick to say, if I fall over, I'm okay to go to the doctor to get stitches. I'm okay to get some crutches, but I'm not okay to say that if I'm not mentally well, I'm going to go get that checked out. I think it's important that we start to look at it as one thing and be very holistic in the way that we look after ourselves. And that also means that we're holistic in how we treat and socialize our children.
Can we talk a little bit about single parenting and the role of organizations like Big Brothers and Big Sisters in the Cayman Islands?
That's an excellent point. So I'll take you there. If we as parents do what we need to do to model for our children, then there's there's limited need for community modeling, because we will have already set that standard at home. Mm-hmm. Now, it does take a village, and so we're not going to be able to cover every single base as parents, but we can set that foundation. And I think that's where we need to start off as parents. We need to set appropriate standards. We need to set model appropriate behaviors and expectations and teach skills. We cannot have expectations for someone who does not have the skills to be able to meet those expectations. Now, when we talk about the community's role in modeling, this is where we're filling the gaps of those single parents' households. We're filling the gaps of those parents who might be teaching one set of skills, but, did not have the ability to teach the other set of skills. And so programs, for example, maximizing the fact that these young people in Cayman are musically inclined and giving them a positive outlet to be able to use. Be able to be as an educator and realize, this child has different abilities, and being able to create safe environments for them to be who they are in that safe space. And I'm sure he can speak to that.
Yes.
That's just it's. I can follow on to that, but I'm just listening to you as you're talking, and I love that there's a drive. Like you talk about communities making up the spaces for single parents, and obviously the question about single parents, nobody wants to go into that situation. Nobody wakes up today and thinks like, right, do you know what, I'm going to be a single parent by the end of the day. Yeah. Do they? That's not how it works. And it's kind of like I want to be careful because, I'm not going to give any specifics, but right now in the UK, somewhere in the UK, there is a case going on where a young lady has had a baby, and she's in difficulty because the social work services are saying that they're going to take the child off her because they don't know whether she is mentally able to look after the child or not. And without that's I have to be that sort of general because I can't give away specifics. But the long and short of it is that there are lots of reasoning, of reasoned understandings, impetus to help in that situation. She didn't want to be a mum of a 4-month-old baby with the dad just disappearing. She didn't want that. So she didn't go into that situation thinking, this is what's going to happen. She has suffered it's varied enough to say encephalitis, swelling of the fluids around the brain. There are it can limit certain aspects of our abilities to be fully functional. I'm picking my words carefully. She didn't want that. She didn't go into life expecting that. And there are a group of people who would want to criticise her for this. And I just want to say, that's all I want to say is that I love that in Cayman. There are people who are still saying, Colin's gone now, but they're still saying it takes a village to raise a child. I love that there are programmes there to help people who are in a situation that is difficult. I love the fact, because, let's be honest, I know what it's like to be by yourself in the house with a crying child. Now, years ago when my first wife went to... I just said my first wife, what a bizarre statement. Sorry. My late wife was at college working, and we had a newborn baby, and as a dad, I couldn't produce milk, and she wasn't taking the bottle. And when that baby cries... for me, my brain went, okay, this is upsetting. Okay, this is bad. Oh my God, I'm going to, it's just, it's very, very difficult to be a single parent in a situation with a child who needs you. So, all I want to say is that it's a credit to Cayman that the Family Resource Centre and other bodies are coming together to help families. Because let's be honest, if the family unit breaks down in a country like this, the implications are disastrous.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Okay. With that, I would want to give you an opportunity for some final comments, Ms. Raquel.
So, final comments will be, let's start to make change. Let's start to take on a sense of social responsibility, individual responsibility. Let's see this as an everyone issue and not a men's issue, a women's issue, a them issue, right? We like to sometimes remove ourselves from situations that might be difficult or situations that we feel are not directly relevant. Women's issues have come a long way, and that's because women socialize, they support each other, they get involved, they stand up and say, hey, you know what, this thing is happening, I don't like it, I want to change it. Yes. We need our men to do the same, because
we need a Me Too movement for men.
We need a Me Too men movement, because women have been identifying their issues and have been striving and fighting and making strides. Let's not now leave our men behind where they're now going to need to fight and make strides. Let's take them along with us and ensure that their issues, their needs are being met as well. It's very important that we have that balance. And one of the ways that we can do that, I have to do this plug, where tonight at Camana Bay, we'll be doing our screening of Men's Voice. So our panel discussion here was only a really small snippet of what you'll hear in that video. And again, it's a challenge for everyone to be able to identify, what can I do? And it's great to come out and sit and watch, but when you leave, we want you to think of, what can I now do as a man? Does that mean that I need to revisit the way that I engage my family? Does that mean that I need to go and join Big Brothers, Big Sisters, come out and volunteer with Family Resource Center, start a sport group, a music group, whatever that looks like? But what can I do as an individual? And if every single person left with just, what can I do? Oh man, it'll be a world of difference. So tonight, Men's Voice premiere at Camana Bay Cinema starting at 6 p.m. It is a must-see.
Okay. Any final comments from you, Mr. Duran?
Cayman, you should be proud of what the Family Resource Centre does, because if you can look after the body of people that give total positive regard to children, that are the building blocks of society. I'm not being conservative when I say that, but family units, whatever their shape, make up our society. And if we can look after that family unit, and that's what the Family Resource Centre does, then you're onto a winner, right? So well done for what goes on. It's absolutely valued and massively appreciated. And fair play to Cayman for doing it.
Okay, thank you very much for being here this afternoon, folks. I want to thank you also for joining Talk Today and listening in to this very important conversation, this dialogue that we've had this morning. Have a great evening, and God bless.
Kirk Freeport's Black Friday sale is bigger than ever with 60% off an incredible selection of watches, jewelry, crystal, and accessories. Get early access to the sale on Thursday night from 5. Bayshore Mall and Cardinal Avenue locations will stay open until 8, and the Strand will remain open until 9. Get unbeatable discounts from brands including John Hardy, Roberto Coin, Bulgari, Chopard, Marco Basico, and many more. Plus, there's an additional 10% off all non-branded sale merchandise. It's Black Friday all weekend at Kirk Freeport. Visit kirkfreeport.com for full details.